Alright, hi everybody and welcome back to renovating the Casa bathroom. It's an exciting day today because for the first time in the whole project we're putting finished surfaces up in the bathroom. Specifically, we're going to be laying tile, and when you're laying tile, so much of the success or failure of doing a tile job lays in proper planning and layout. In other words, one of the worst things you could do is just start grabbing tile and slapping it up on the wall, because you might get in a couple different situations here that aren't good that I want to explain. You know, when you're putting tile up, you've got to understand how things are going to work. In other words, how many tiles are going to be to the corner there? Are you going to be left with a ridiculously slim little sliver of tile that's going to crack while you're cutting it and you have no hope of getting it up on the wall? Are you going to properly take into account the fact that the corners need to be bullnosed down here? And you have to take into account that the tile has to stick out a little bit there too. The bullnosing has to stick out a little bit in order to properly mesh with the tile at a 90-degree angle. So what I'm doing here, you can see some marks where I have where this bullnosing, and unfortunately, this stuff only came in 10-inch pieces, so we have to cut out two 4-inch pieces out of here to match the tile over there, and which is okay. We'll get them cut out, and you know, the other considerations, there's going to be a toilet paper roll holder here, so we have to make sure that you know, we get that cut out and tile around that properly and do that the right way. We want to make sure there's not a ridiculously slim sliver of tile that's going to be on an edge of that. So you can see some of the things, some of the issues that have to be worked here. So having said that, I can tell you the main thing you want to do is to get a starter course of tile set, and you want to make sure that it's laid perfectly level. And the best way to do that is don't assume that the floor is perfectly level, but raise your first level of tile up till it's all probably 3/4 of the width of a tile, and then start from there. Get a good level line and use that as your starting point for going up and over. So I'm going to continue with the layout here today, and then we'll mix up some thin set and get going here. Okay, you can see I have the level laid on here. Down here, and you can see we have that, don't know how well you can see the bubble in there, but we have a perfectly level platform here, and basically we only had to shim the 1/16, so you know, you could almost call it a perfectly level floor here. So I may actually set that first course at the floor level, but just to be sure, I think I'll set it on this first, using this level as a guide. On the first row here, I've made my marks here about where the end of the tile should be and where the bullnosing needs to go over here around the corner to be properly set on that, so that we can match up the corner over here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work with Jen, and we're going to mix up some thin set, and because that's got to sit, we got to mix it up, and then it's got to sit for about 15 minutes and be remixed again, and then it'll be ready to use, and we'll use our trowel and we'll get going. Okay, I'm out here with my lovely assistant on the back deck today. Good morning, honey. And we're going to be mixing up some modified thin set mortar, and it's modified because it has latex in it, which allows it to have good spreadability, and it also allows it to have good sort of semi-flexible sort of adhesion quality. So we have the mixer hooked up to the drill. I'm going to change the camera off in a minute, and we're going to show you how we mix that up. We're going to mix up that latex thin set mortar, get it to the consistency of a thick peanut butter. Then we're going to let it sit for 20 minutes, and then we're going to come back for one final stirring, and it'll be good to go. I specifically bought what they call the Homer bucket from Home Depot, so that we could have a dedicated bucket just for the just for the mortar, so I can slap the lid on it and it'll stay good. So let me get her into position here and we'll get going. I'm going to put an initial load of thinset powder in. And I'm actually going to stop a second here. And I'm going to get a mask for Jen here. There ain't no way I want her breathing that in. There you go. Okay. I feel better having her with that on. We make a nice soup here. And she starts at low speed so that the powder's not kicking all over. She's going up and down and it's pulling that down into the bottom there. And we're going to make this sort of the consistency of a creamy peanut butter here. She's mixing that up real good. And she's also moving that paddle all around the sides of the bucket and everything. So. Hold that for you. Let me do. Readjust the drill position here, and I have my feet holding the bucket in. Okay, so that's a little thick. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. Excuse me, Mandy. Whip a little more water in there. We should do the final whipping and then cover it and let it sit. Oh. Should probably wear a protective cup. Gotta have a powerful drill for this. Okay, so I think we've got like the consistency of a cake batter here. So now we're going to go ahead and walk away for about 20 minutes and let that work good. And then I'll come back and do the final mixing. Thank you, honey. Appreciate it. You're welcome. Okay, while the thinset is settling after its initial stir, it's a good time to talk about spacing on the tile. We're using a ceramic tile here, and you can see it's grooved in the back to accept the thinset mortar. But you might wonder about spacing, and I don't know how well you can see it, but these tiles have what's called little lugs in them. They're baked right in when they fire the tile, and this sets the spacing that you need between the tiles. So it's really nice to allow for some uniformity and a nice thin grout line. So we're going to be using these to set the spacing, and things should move along pretty rapidly with those spacers automatically built in. Okay, the thinset is all mixed up. It's in the bathroom. I got the lid on it. You can see I've got the wet saw set up here on the table, And it's got the guard here on the top, which is very important. It's got the adjustable fence so that we can make our measurements. You know, if I need a 2 1/4 inch tile, they're all marked here, and you set it on both ends, and you got a really nice square cut. You've got your chooch for pushing along the tile there to get a good cut and everything like that. So that actually, yeah, that rides along the fence there, and it's really nice. And you better believe I'm going to wear eye protection when you're running this saw. You never know. Ceramic chips are, you know, one of them gets in your eyes, it's going to do a lot of damage. Why take the chance? Safety first, safety first, safety first. So having done all the preparations, it's time to go inside and talk a little bit about the proper way of setting tile. Okay guys, rolling right along. I'm setting my fence for a 6-inch cut for the bull nose. Okay, that's the stuff that wraps around the corner there. I'll take my time. I got my safety glasses on. Turn off your saw before you remove your teeth. Okay, and then I like to use a little towel shaper they call it, just to get off some of the rough edges there. She fits real good and there's no chance of getting a cut. Like that, so we'll go mount her up. Okay. Get a little more thinset spread up here. You can see we got the first two courses set there really well. So now we're setting another corner piece, and this has the bull nosing on it to make the corner there. And like I said, the nice stuff about this tile, it has the built-in spacers, and what I do is just hold the piece to the back to make sure that I get a perfect alignment on that. So that's the way we roll right there, and I can press that right into place, and that one is good to go. Sorry. And then I can wipe it down. Get that set real good. I'm wiping as I go along, so you can see how she's going there. So far so good. So I got a kind of a double cut here coming up that I'm going to do. I'm going to take my pencil, if I can find that. Of course that's nowhere in sight. Alright, we'll just stop that for a minute. Okay guys, you can see we're rolling along pretty good. The main concern of mine is making sure that I always have a good edge over here to bull nose up against the end tile. So I'm being very careful with the setting. Every time I go up, I'm setting another tile back there, holding it in place just to be sure. So we've done a difficult cut around the tissue paper holder. So now it's just a matter of making our way up the wall. I'm going to take a break for a little bit and grab some breakfast. Thankfully Jennifer made some biscuits here today, which is awesome. So I am going to take a break. Okay, setting the tile, and one thing I'm being very careful to do is to check it up and down vertically, as well as laying the level crosswise to make sure that we get a good lay. And you see I have a little bit of a bow right there in the wall, but at this point there's not much I can do about that. So, but what I can do, and what I am doing, is making sure that from top to bottom we have a perfect, we maintain our perfect level here. So, having done the tough cuts, it's time to really roll now and really start laying some tile. Really rolling along good now, and it's important when you're doing a tile job that you really stand far back once in a while and get the distant view, because the human eye is excellent at detecting things that are out of square or misaligned. So what I like to do periodically is stand back here before I set my next tile on here, and it all looks good. I've got everything all buttered over here. I'll go ahead and place my next tile there. And as I said, the beauty of this is these tiles already have the lugs or the spacing built in between them. And I always make sure that I wipe off the tiles real well, because you don't want any of that thin set drying on it. So I'm sort of cutting things to scribing to the wall here so we get a nice tight fit, because that's not perfectly up and down. You know, it has a little bow in the center, so I'm custom cutting each piece to fit in there. Hello, YouTubers. Just setting away today. Setting tile, what do you think?
Looks beautiful.
All the lines looking good. Making sure we get a good set in every direction. Direction of the erection. There we go. Alright, rolling along, what do you think?
Looks beautiful.
Got my eye protection on. I'm going to go out and cut a 4.5 and get another cut down bullnose for that.
Very
All
good.
set, okay? Looking good, trying to maintain spacing. Keep our grout lines good. Alright, I'm really a stickler for getting shit the right way. So luckily these things have those lugs built in on the side of the tile that helps you set that gap between them, so that's really nice. Looking good, eh? Slide that over just a tad. Get that set.
Yeah, you're doing fantastic.
Thank you, honey.
Mamacita is proud of you as always.
Mamacita's going to be very happy when this job is done. I tell you. Let me go out and cut another.
Can't wait to come in here and take my first clap.
Yeah, me too. Isn't that going to be exciting?
Yep.
We're going to make this one 4 5/8. We're kind of scribing to this wall because it does kind of have a curve. And,
Yeah.
you know, we'll be caulking in there, which will be real good. So.
Very good.
All right, honey. The wall here, you want to remove these pain in the ass tags on the back, because people do buy individual tiles. Be wearing your safety glasses at all times. Keep your hands away from the blades, both sides. Let the saw do the work. Turn off your saw before you remove your piece there. And I like to take down, sometimes you get a little rough, little corner on there. I like to take that down. I got a, what they call a tile shaver here. What that does is it takes off that high spot. And some of mine are on the, where people are going to touch them. You want to make sure all those corners are rounded down, because that's like glass.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the way
It's like a Japanese sword.
Yeah, you got to be very careful. All right. Ooh, looks pretty nice, doesn't it? I'm going to save the top cuts for the very end, just like I'm saving the bottom cuts down there. I had to do a little correction on the edge there. It started to try to run out a little bit, so I had to adjust some of the tiles accordingly, but it came out really, really nicely. What I'd like to do now is work my way around the corner and start backsetting some of these tiles along here. And this is going to be a relatively easy matter here, because I only have to cut flush here, and then the bullnosing will come around. So, all right, I'm going to get on that right now. All right, guys, day 1 of tile setting is in the books. Got a really nice set on that first wall over there, and also started going around the corner here, as you can see there. And it's really gone in fine. All the planning, all the prep work is really paying off. And I'm making sure to give a good wipe down as I go. You don't want to leave any of the thinset mortar between the tiles popping out. You want to try to get that down below level so it'll accept a good grouting. So yeah, so far so good. I've used a little wedge here and there to get corners set, but I'm happy. The Missy Jen is happy today. Huh? You giving a thumbs up today? Huh? The cleanup crew has arrived. That means shut up, Rosie. Get out of the bathroom and let her do her thing. So, all right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed day one of the tile setting, renovating the Casa bathroom.